Today we are going to see how to write a CV on NHS and how to make a application on NHS job.com or Tracjobs. So this is one of the formats that you can choose on how to make a CV. First of all, it will contain your name, your qualifications, and your registrations. This is one way of writing it down. Other people prefer to strictly go to personal details, but if you add a name and a degrees before, it makes a good impression. There is no right or wrong way of doing a CV, but this is how I do it, and this is how I put my applications on. So, first of all, you write your names and degrees and your GMC and PMDC or whatever uh, other registrations that you have. Then comes the personal details. You can add your name, phone numbers, and stuff. What I do that I put this professional summary on, in which you write your qualifications such as um, your graduation, your post-graduation, and again to highlight your registrations. And then you go to clinical experience. I write it in tabulated form so that it's easy for the reader to get the concise information without utilizing too much of space. So you make a table like this, including job titles, duration, period, and institute or program. And then you go to that there will be information on area objective or supporting information. This is something that everybody asks a lot. That what do you want us to write in area objective? It depends on the job that you are applying for. It's basically a way of saying that you are good enough for the job. Basically, in your CV, they are looking at three main domains as a doctor. Number one is your qualifications, your skill levels. Number two is research and innovation, including QIPs, audits and case reports and research articles. And number three is teaching. So these are the three domains that your CV should show. In area objectives, I already, I give my background, that what I have done, how I will be the best option for your team, and why I want to join your department in particular. For example, if I'm applying for a research post, I will give 2-3 lines to what research project I have done, or if I haven't done any, why I'm very much interested in research. If I'm applying for a higher specialty post or a subspecialty, I will write a couple of lines about that very specialty, that why I want to go to robotic or why I want to go to endourology. For example, if I'm applying for endourology, I will particularly mention that I have assisted or I have seen these number of cases of endourology. When you are writing your supporting information, make sure you keep in mind that you have to write it according to the role that you are applying for. What I normally do, I write it like this. I write my qualifications. I write my research and teaching background, and then at the end I put that I will be happy to join your team. You can write your team member or something like that. So this is a fairly common question. You need not to get very obsessive about it. Writing a supporting information will not give you any negative marking or will not take away any credit. Writing a CV is mainly about the job experience that you have and what independent skill set that you have. Anything else hardly matter. Do not pay too much attention on writing the supporting information, But if you're worried about it, just keep the rule in mind, write about your qualifications, and then convince the reader or your consultant that why you will be best for the job. Then I always write this, that what are my independent skill sets, what are the surgeries that I can do. If you are at a much junior level, you can write that I'm happy to do the ward rounds, I'm happy to do the ward clerking, I'm happy to write patient histories and notes. I'm very good and punctual, I'm hardworking, I communicate well with my consultants, I communicate well with my registrar. So if you're in your independent skill set, if you're very senior or at the middle grade level, you can write your surgeries that you can do independently. Otherwise, if you're at a junior level, you can write what is best for your role. That you're able to independently independently do examinations, independently able to communicate and write calls, independently able to admit patient. You can write, never think about that this is a small thing or this is obvious. I don't need to mention it. Mention everything that you can do. Don't feel shy about it. And then that heading will be eager to learn or needs improvement. I always write this thing because I want my consultant or my hiring manager to know that what are my limits. And obviously, if you are getting a job, you need to let them know that I want to learn and I don't know everything about everything. That just shows either you're plain lying or you're not much of a learner. So always write what you want to learn or what do you want to do in next couple of years. And then comes this is a format, you can use another format. This is how I write it, that what I have done previously. And I always write duties and responsibilities. Like 2-3 lines what you used to do in the rota, whether you were doing outpatient clinics, whether you were doing indoor clinics, whether you were doing admissions, what was your role and responsibility. If you don't want to write 7 or 10 lines, you can write a couple of lines, that is fine. But in every role and responsibility, you have to write a couple of lines that what was your rota like, what you used to do, and how much capable you are. And for each role I do that. Sometimes I also mention my basic salary, so that the information for the managers that place me correctly in the pay scale. But if you don't want to write it, that's fine. For each and every role as we have seen it, just an example, when I was a trainee in SCPS, I wrote that I was part of a fellowship program, I was doing emergency covers, I was assisting, and I was doing outpatient clinic. So this is something that you can do. You can even write it for your house job. Even if you have limited experience, in that case, I even write my rotations. If I have done a 1 month rotation or a 3 month rotation in my ordinary year, I increase and write each of the rotation in a separate segment. And at a more senior level, you can just skip the details. You don't want 3 or 4 pages of information. If you are at a much senior level, you just write the main points. Like you write, I have done a 5-year fellowship, and the other thing will be obvious. If you are at a much junior level, you name each and everything, or you want to spread out the information and utilize more space so that he knows that don't write I have done 1 year house job and that's it. Write each and every rotation and what you have learned in that rotation. And obviously at a senior level you have more margin of skipping over the details. Awards and honors, if you have any, you can write here. And you can also write here, if you don't have any awards and honors, you can write here what roles or what responsibilities you have taken in the past. If you were a house officer in charge, if you were a teaching fellow, if you were given any House Officer of the Month or Employee of the Month, you can write here. You can write each and everything. Don't think that it will be a very minor thing to do or it will not look good. Each and everything look good. If you have done it, you write it. And then you enter your research projects, the papers that you have published with the name of the journal, issue of the journal. And I don't write DOIs or links because they don't look good. Don't write it like this I have shown in blue. You don't need to provide the links. Everybody can Google. You just write the names and the journal names. If you have published any case reports or done any audits, you can write. Paper presentations. At a much senior level, I only write national or international paper presentations. If you are applying for a senior registrar or a specialty registrar, it doesn't look nice that if you are writing departmental presentations. This will be like 15 and 20 of them. If you are, I only write national or international. That will be 3, 4 in every case. If you are at a much junior level, you can write your warm presentations as well. Article reviews if you have done any, and then teaching. If you have done any diplomas in teaching, if you have done a job as a demonstrator, or whatever you want to write in teaching. If you have done no teaching, and if you have done no diplomas, you can just write that this is something I'm planning to do next week. That's a couple of years. And never write something in the teaching department. Or you can write, I'm eager to teach undergraduates and juniors when I'm given an opportunity. Or I'm happy with the teaching rules. Don't leave this empty. Administrative skills. Some people, if they are working at a manager or registrar, they want to write it, you can leave, you don't leave it empty. And then you provide your references. So this is how NHS CV look like. Now in the next segment, we will see how an AMC CV should look like. So AMC format is pretty simple. They don't want you to write long length 7 pages or 8 pages of CV. They just want you to write the personal information in a box like this, and then a professional summary. This is the same as sporting information or same as your area objective. Just a couple of lines. Again, they will focus on 3 things: the role that you are applying for, the teaching, the research, and your clinical experience. Then they want you to write primary medical qualification. They have given us a format like this, indicating your qualification title, year you qualified, institution, and what special you have done there. They want you to write in a box like this. And then same with your specialist qualification and additional qualifications. If you don't have that amount of qualification, you can just write your graduation as I have written in the first box. Then the next heading will be medical licensing authorities. I have written here GMC and EMDC Pakistan that I have, and you can mention whether you have full registration with or without license, specialist registration, general registration, or what is your status. This is something very important that people who apply in Australia want you to write, that it's basically the same thing that you do in NHS, but they just want you to make sure that when they hire you, they want to know what you can do, what you cannot do. Again, if you are at a senior level, you write the surgeries. If you are at a junior level, you write that you do admissions, you do log-in, you do hitting, you do examinations, you do bedside teaching, you teach undergraduates, you do clinical projects, you do audits, you take initiatives. You don't leave this empty even if you are at a junior level. As a kid or need improvement, I always write this, that what you need to do to improve. And then comes your clinical part. Clinical part is basically a main job title, duration, period, and institution. That what you want to do, what you have done previously, and how much time. This is straightforward. I don't need to explain it. Just write your emails in the tabulated form. Award is an honor. Again, if you're at a junior level, you can write employee of the month or house officer of the month or rota in charge. Show them that you are leader as well and you're happy to contribute to the team. So contribute to the team is showing that you are able to do things that again showing that you are able to do things that a good house officer or a good clinical fellow will do. Being involved, being in leadership roles and stuff like that. Then you write your publications or case reports about same if you are at a junior level. You write about audits and case reports. You haven't done any. You can just write that I'm eager to help and I want to do this. Don't leave this empty. Paper presentation, again, if you're at a senior level, you write national only and or international. If you're at a junior level, you can write your one presentations. So this is how an AMC CV will look like. You want to write your personal information, professional summary, boxes of your qualification, what you are independently able to do, what you are not independently able to do, or want to learn, award and honors, article, case report, and paper presentations. And at the end, I will get like the references. Now we will look at how to make an application in NHS. There are a couple of portals that we use, but we know that the more 95% of the people use Tracjobs, and they put the application on Tracjobs. You can either go to nhsjob.com as well, and if you try to put an application, it will also lead you to Tracjobs. So now we will learn how to fill an online application on Tracjobs. So this is one of the examples that if you want to work, if you want to put your application on Tracjobs, it will after the particular, if you click on the link, it will lead you to Tracjob sites. So if you are, make sure that the role that you are applying for, you have read about the job description. Keep an eye on the things that if they want you to have a driving license, if it's a single hospital job or a multiple hospital job. Sometimes they just reject you on the basis of these things because you have not read the job description. So if the driving license and driving is mandatory for the job and you have written that you don't drive, it will not even reach the consultant. The person who is shortlisting, the manager or sub-manager, he will put away your application because you are not meeting the essential criteria. Another example is that written that AELS or BLS is mandatory and you are not clicking that you have done that and you write all your experience and other things and but you have not fulfilled the mandatory criteria, they will not shortlist your application. Major portion of disappointment that we get in applications being rejected is because we are not looking at the job criteria. At a much junior level, I have seen people putting up 100, 150, 500 applications. You don't need to do that. You don't need to put application in every specialty or every hospital or every city of UK. Don't do that. Normally put 10 to 15 applications that are best suited for your role. If you have done work in surgery, only put application in surgery. If you have done work in urology, only put application in urology. If I am hiring someone, why would I hire a person who has done a work in urology into medicine? That will not make any sense until unless I have nobody else to hire. But that doesn't happen anymore because there are so many of us now. So what I want you to do is to put 10 to 15 applications and then see how it goes. And if you are shortlisted for an interview, that's alright. If you are not, then you can put more applications. If you are very desperate and want to go early, it's okay to put 30 to 40 applications at a junior level. But don't go blindly putting applications in each specialty. Only go with specialty that you really feel like you can do and you are good enough to be shortlisted. So first segment is very much standard. It contains your information. And that one is mandatory medical legal segment, that you have no criminal offenses or penalties. Even if you have any penalties or criminal record, make sure you put it on here. Because if you hide any information, that will not look good in your CV. And that can lead to fraud and withdrawal of job, even if you are working for 3-4 years and they find out that you have lied in your application, they can pull back the job. So they have a box here. They give you a box here. If you have any criminal offense or any penalty or anything like that, you can put it on the box. And one thing that I want to mention, you don't have to mention driving offenses and fines and parking offenses, flight tipping. You don't put things like this. So don't worry about these things. Other is every job has its own. So what they have done here, they added a qualification segment like this. You write your qualification, place of study, grade. If you have a medal or something, I write it here because this is the first thing that the consultant will see. If I have a medal, if I have something or a distinction, I write in grade and result. So that on the first look he gets a good impression that I'm academically sound. That will be your training and courses. Don't write 25 courses. I only write the recent one that I have done in last couple of years. And if you haven't done any, try to do ALS, try to do BLS, try to do teaching diplomas, try to do 1-day, 3-day workshops, try to do paper presentations, try to do clinical audits, try to do case reports, so that your CV is populated. It doesn't look empty. But at a senior level, don't write what you have done in last 12 years or 13 years. For example, if I write all the training and content that I have attended, it will be like hundreds. That is why they mention that either they limit you to last 3 years at a senior level, or they ask you to write only 7. At a junior level, you can write everything, even very small presentations as well. But at a senior level, don't populate it too much. Then they will want the detail of your GMC, obviously, what is your rank status, whether you have license or not. Other will be fitness to practice, very standard. Have you ever had any convictions or inquiries against you? Again, if you had any, don't feel shy to use the box to get more information. It will not be a bad impression if you use and convey the information that yes, I had this suspension or termination, but this is something that I'm trying to explain, and you explain it beautifully, it will not impact your job. Then you write your experience. Again, they provide you boxes. Don't forget to write role and responsibility. Don't leave this empty because they want to know that what you have done previously. And write a few lines about each role that you have done in your life. For a junior level, you can spread it to the patients of your foundation year and things like that. At a senior level, I get like 5-year fellowship program or 2-year fellowship program or 2.5 years here and 2.5 years there. But also write the duties and responsibilities. I know it's very laborious to write these things, but you can place it in a Word file in your computer, like a raw form, and you can copy and paste from there. But when you are putting an application, don't leave this empty. Then they will ask you about gaps in employment, whereas they have mentioned that you should mention only more than 6 years. I have just written none greater than 6 months. If they are greater than 6 months, also provide the information what you were doing in that time. This is a very common question that people ask, that what do we write in practical experience? So when now at a senior level I do it like this. Urology 7 years or general surgery this and this, independently and independently. Some people also at a junior level they write what procedures they can do. For example, in general surgery, cholecystectomy, lap, only hernia, independently, only independently, thyroid independently or under supervision. Some people write it like this, by procedure. If you're writing procedure by procedure, only write up to 7 to 10 procedures, not more than that. And if you're doing like this, that's fine as well. I did it like this because they have already mentioned what you are able to do independently. They already provided me with the space that what I'm able to do and what I'm not able to do, or what I need to learn. That is why I mentioned like this. You can also mention your number of e-logs, what some people do, they write urology 550 plus cases, general surgery 100 plus cases. If you are at a junior level, you can write even the very minor procedures like IV lines, Foley's, catheterizations, CV lines, ABGs. Write each and everything that you can do. Nothing is smaller. Nothing is that you feel shy about writing. If you know something, you write something according to your role. If I'm applying for a senior clinical fellow job, or an advanced urology or an advanced general surgery post, I will not be writing Foley's and NGs. But if I'm applying for a foundation doctor, I will write these things. So it depends upon the role that you are applying to. I hope that I have cleared this point. So this is about what you can do independently and what you cannot do independently. That part is that if you have an teaching diploma, or if you have an teaching experience, I can write it here as well. And that segment will be, have you done any audits? Audit include everything. It includes quality improvement projects. It includes academic presentations that you have done. They are also part of QIP. If you haven't done any QIPs or case reports or articles, you can just write about your one presentations. Because they are also part of journal rota, and they are also part of your learning. So you can write about one presentation if you have done any. Don't leave this empty at a junior level. So at a senior level, I don't give too much details. I don't want to populate it too much. I just write the name of the article and the journal. I normally don't write aim of research or conclusions or actions. At a junior level, you can write it, but at a senior level, that will be too much information to read. So I just write it like this about my article and name of the article and journal name. If you have lesser number of entries here, you can go into more details so that the reader know that you have filled the boxes. Presentation again, as I have mentioned, if you are at a junior level, you write about all the presentations that you have done. At a senior level, you write only the national and international ones. Awards and honor, very much obvious. You can write employee of the month, house officer of the month, medical officer of the month, you can write anything. Management and leadership, you can write what you have done and you can leave it empty if you want to. And this is not a very important segment of the CV. You want to leave it empty, that's alright. The supporting information that I have previously mentioned as well, that this is according to the role that I am applying for. I normally write what I want, what I have done, what I want to achieve, and then I write something about my research, and I write something about my teaching. And for example, if I'm applying for robotic, I will write that why I really like to pursue neurontology and what the work that I have done in neurontology. If I'm applying for breast surgery, I will write about the words in work that I have done in breast surgery. Or also, I will write that in my upper segment where I was mentioning practical experience. So keep the role in mind that you're applying for. And don't write an essay. I know there is a word limit as well. Only write few lines about it. And then your references, that is previously obvious, very obvious. Make sure that I know you have worked with many professors and associates. Write the name of the people who are email friendly. I know very good professors who are very friendly, very nice human beings, but they are not very technology friendly and email friendly. So they will take a couple of weeks to respond, and sometimes they miss the email in spam folder or junk folder. Their generation might not be very good in replying to emails. So choose a professor or choose a senior that is email friendly and up to date. So that, and it is a very good thing to message your consultant that, sir, I have applied for this job. You will get a reference about it. When you get selected, or whenever you get an interview and you get the success letter, quickly write a message or make a phone call to your consultant that, sir, I have been selected for clinical fellow in London. They will write you an email about it. Kindly look into this. And don't give reference of the people that you are not sure that they will write good things about you. Only write the name of the people. They don't have to be head of department. They don't have to be very senior. You can even write about a registrar in reference if you're applying for a junior role. Or a much senior role, you can even write about a assistant professor or a senior registrar or head of department. That is your choice. But choose people who you are 100% sure that they will write good things about you, and who you are sure that they will be email friendly and reply quickly. So that, number one, you don't lose your job due to a bad reference, or you don't have to provide more references because the first one had not replied. And this is one thing that you have to anticipate, that choose only those people who are more friendly. And then comes the equality and DEIs. You mentioned that your orientation, do you have any disability? Very obvious. That we will look into another application because to get one more example of how to write an NHS application on Tracjobs. So this is my application from some years, some years ago. It is a smaller application. This is why I have put it on to make sure that for the junior doctors, if you have little to write, you write it in more details. If you have more things to write, you write it shortly. And that's the basic concept. Again, if we look at this application, this is name and personal information. Then you write about any criminal convictions. If your answer is yes, write the details as well. Then you write about the personal statement, again stating what you have done and why you are most suitable for this role, mentioning your clinical experience, mentioning your teaching, mentioning your research experience. Then you write your qualifications as we have done before or seen before. Then you write the courses, just say 7 courses, the main ones, important ones, or at a junior level write each and everything. What is your GMC status? This is the online form that we are doing. You just have to fill the forms. Any other registration that you have? I have done one fellowship in Pakistan before I moved to UK. I have done and like this. And then for each role and responsibility that you have been there doing or done, you write a few lines about it. As I have written that I work in emergency rota, it was 40 hours per week. I've done some elective. I used to do outpatient. I used to do inpatient. You write something about each and every role that you have worked in. So these are my experiences that. And regarding paper presentation, again, national or international, if you are senior, if you are junior, write every one presentation that you have done. Teaching, whatever work you have done in teaching, management, your audit experience. If you don't have any audit or QIPs, mention that you are very eager to do this and you will be doing in future. Or mention about your one presentation, or mention about your bedside teaching. Don't leave it empty. Regarding your publication at a senior level, I just write the name of the journal and name of the article. I don't go beyond that. Workshops. The reason I have written this in very much of detail because there was a particular segment in the box regarding this in this particular application. Although I have already written my workshops and trainings above, they had created, the employer had created a different segment about workshop and conferences. That is why I populated this. Otherwise, I just don't write these certificate of participations or workshop that I have done. Spoken information, he has already mentioned that give me the reason that you are applying for the post, why you are relevant, what's your training, what are your personal attributes. By personal attribute, he means that why you want to apply for this role, how much leadership you have, how much research you have done, how happy you are in doing flexible work. Are you able to work in multiple sites? If there is a crisis in the department, are you able to put your department first? Write things like this. And clinical logbook, so this is a different from last application. They wanted me to put my e-log here. For the people who have done SCPS, they can just write an email to CPSP to give you your e-log because you cannot download it from the portal. You need to send an email to the controller, and CPSP people are very nice. They will quickly send you back your e-log. If you've done a fellowship back home, you attach your e-log and your UK log and merge them into a single file. So what I have done 6-7 years in Pakistan. I added my fellowship record from there and I merged it into my NHS record. Another reminder to keep on adding your surgery to e-log. They don't want you to enter 500 cases or 1,000 cases. They are not interested in numbers. All they are interested in to give a general idea that what you are able to do independently and what you are not able to do independently. And that's it. So today we have learned about how to write a CV in NHS, how to put application on Tracjobs regarding NHS, and then a brief segment about writing CV for AMC. If you have any questions, you can put it in the comment sections.